Hi, Dean here with Mad Max RT. Today I want to do a video response to SouthTX RT, who did a really nice, kind of a touching tribute to just what it means to be a car guy and to really appreciate, your car, whether it's, a Mopar. Naturally, this is for the most part, is a Mopar community. We love our Challengers and our Chargers and our other Mopar cars that we have, past and present. It's a beautiful thing. But it's nice to even reflect back on all the cars you've had, whether they were, a V6 Camaro, or, I had a couple Z28s. The last one I had was a 98 Z28, which I absolutely loved. A really fun car to drive. I had a really nice 91 Trans Am that I loved as much. I had a little, 2003 Blazer Extreme with a little V6 Vortex in it. I put a Flowmaster on it. And a cold air induction kit. I mean, it's just fun to have cars, whether you just simply tint the windows and drive them the way they are, or whether you do some heavy mods to them with headers and cams and gears and all that. It's a beautiful thing. I think that many of us had that level of a deep appreciation for the cars that we have. I mean, there's something about when you go to the movies or a grocery store and you park way out in the parking lot, it's like how many times you turn around and look at your car as you walk away. I'm still like a little kid. I feel like it's my first car when I get this Challenger. I pull my Challenger out every morning and I warm it up for my wife. And every time I warm it up, I just love to hear it fire up, and I walk around the car, and I'm just so thankful to have another nice car. I was actually going to wait a few more years before getting one. I wanted to pay cash for one initially and really get the best deal that I could. So I got to make the most of my money as I'm getting, up there in age. I'm getting closer to, I guess, a retirement at some point. So I had to be careful with my money, and it would have been fun to try to squeeze into an SRT or a Hellcat or something. But for me, the RT was perfect for the budget that I had, and something I felt good my wife could drive. My wife loves cars like I do. In fact, we met when I had my old '85 Corvette. She was real happy to see someone that had a car. Her ex-husband wouldn't even let her drive his big block Ranchero that he had. He said, "It's way too much power for you." So it was funny, every time, every chance she would be asking, would it be okay if I drive your car? I said, "Sure, go ahead, here's the keys, have fun with it, take it to work if you want." And so we kind of built our relationship on cars, and that's why I proposed to her within 24 hours after meeting her, because we seemed to hit it off. She seemed to like cars. I'd never met a chick that liked cars before. And so to this day, we have a lot of fun. We went out and looked at this Challenger. She initially liked the SS Camaros, but because now the new one has the Corvette motor and they're like megabucks, they're very expensive. And I didn't want to get they had like a lesser V6 one, which I really wasn't into, and we thought that the interior was just a little bit kind of not near as nice as the Challenger interior. It's certainly not as comfortable. So we chose the Challenger. After we drove the Chargers and the Challengers and the Camaros, and even a new Mustang. We drove a 2014 Mustang and really didn't like that. I didn't care for the way it handled and the ride in it in particular. But, I like all of them. They're all wonderful cars, and I can certainly see why the Mustang guys and the Camaro guys, and certainly the Mopar guys, really love their rides. I mean, it's something that, it's a feeling that all of us have as car guys. Again, whether you do the excessive mods or whether you just tint the windows. In the old days, I've had cars where sometimes I would just tint the windows and lower them and put a nice exhaust system on and call it a day. Or maybe I put a nice stereo in it. The 89 cars I've had, I only had one import. I had a 95 240 SX that I absolutely loved. I had like a $2,000 Alpine stereo in it. I left it pretty much stock with just a nice exhaust on it. And I love that car. It's the only import I've ever had, but because it was like a one-year-only motor, I had a lot of problems getting parts for the car. And then my wife was a little heavy on the acceleration and warped the head on it going to work one day. She had a wide open, she had like a 56-mile drive to her work, her old job. We lived up in the high desert of California. So I always would buy her something else. I'd say, okay, well, it's time to get in a new car. And I always loved that process, whether it was her car or mine. We love cars. Just going shopping for one is like a special treat. I don't know what it is. My dad never was a car guy. Both of my parents don't get it. My dad was a Datsun guy. He had a little 510 station wagon. And then he bought a little Datsun 1600 back in like '72. And then later he traded that in for a '75 four-door Ford Granada. I mean, he's always had kind of strange, I call them non-cars, or cars that are just like point A to point B transportation. He always shakes his head at me like, I don't see this attraction for the cars. God, son, the money you've wasted on these cars. And I said, Dad, you don't get it. They're fun. This is what I live for. I live for this shit, you know. It's exciting. I think that real car guys get it and other people don't. And that's fine. Not everyone has to have that deep level of appreciation. Here in California, it's kind of the car mecca. If you go out on a weekend just to run errands, to go to Lowe's or Home Depot or to go to the grocery store with your wife, go out to eat, whatever, you can't help but, like, every parking lot you go by and there's a bunch of old guys, you know, congregating with old Roadsters, Ford Roadsters. Or you'll see a Corvette group and they're all kind of clipped together with their Corvettes or their G35 Infinities, whatever. And it's neat. It's just, it's like, it's everywhere all the time. We have car shows like every weekend here. They're all over our city. Southern California in particular is like really known killer hangouts. I had my favorite places. I go on Friday nights and Saturday nights. You know, got to Burbank, to Bob's Big Boy or Kevin's Burgers in Canoga Park on a Friday night. And you'd see these killer hot rods with blowers and big fat tires and, you know, huge 426 Hemis and old Cudas. I mean, it was such a good time. And so my memories of looking back at the cars that I've had and the car guys that I've been around, it's like a brotherhood. Almost like bikers. You know, bikers have the same thing with the Harley guys. They see other Harley guys and they kind of nod and wave to them. Some parts of the U.S. you may see more of that, you know, the thumbs up. I mean, I get a lot of it here. I drive that Challenger, even though it's nothing special. It's just an RT, and a fairly plain-looking one at that. But it's still, I still get thumbs up. You know, I'll pull up at the grocery store to go to my paint supply place, even with my truck here. And so many other painters, hey, dude, I love that truck. It really looks nice. It's nice that you take care of it, you know. My truck is going on 10 years old. It's a 2008. Still doesn't have a scratch on it, not a ding. It looks perfect inside and out because I take pride. It's that pride of ownership. And our real car guys, I think, get that. Whether you're real finicky about the paint or not, it doesn't really matter. It's the fact that we love our cars. Some guys have more trailer queen type cars, and then there's other guys that will drive them, you know, every single day. I use them as daily drivers, and I drive them hard. So that's how I like to drive them. I take good care of them and stay on top of the maintenance, but I certainly have a ball driving them. Now with my bad back, I'm going to be forced to retire early, and it's very painful for me to drive, even more than like 15, 20 minutes. I had a bad back surgery. The guy did a good job, and it saved my right leg, but unfortunately, I have a really bad chronic pain problem. So it's very painful to drive now, and I can't do those really long, you know, hours I'm in driving from one end of the state to the other like I used to. Very tough. I'm going to be doing it for Christmas. I got like a 7-hour drive to Los Angeles to see family. It's going to be tough, but you know, my wife loves to drive, so we'll trade off, and I'll take my pain pills when she's driving or whatever. We'll get through it. We're going to Lake Tahoe this weekend. There's a really wonderful car community up there of Challenger owners. That's actually why I bought my Challenger. I was up there with my wife last year, and we had I had a 2014 Chevy Malibu that we bought. It was just a nice car for my wife to get to and from work. She's got like a 12, 13 mile commute. She wanted something good on gas, and she liked the little display screen, the smart screen inside and all that. But it was very uncomfortable. And we both showed up at our favorite eatery in Lake Tahoe, and we saw this wonderful group of Challenger guys. I don't know if they're local or what, but they were all hanging out and eating and drinking there. And I just loved to see those cars. And I saw all of those Challengers lined up, and I got really choked up. I told her, I said, I may have to move up my plans of getting my Challenger early, because this is like the golden age of muscle cars. I've never seen it. We've never had it so good. Whether you have the RT, the SRT, the Hellcats, or for those who are fortunate enough to be able to squeeze into a Demon, it's a beautiful thing that we can drive these cars. We've never had it so good. I mean, I'm telling you, I've had most of the best muscle cars. None of them can handle, can brake, have the suspension, the performance, even the fuel economy, the overdrive, everything that these newer vehicles have. It's a beautiful thing. I love where we are right now, and I don't know how much longer it's going to last. Supposedly another year from now, they're going to be, challenge will be on an Alfa Romeo chassis with a turbocharged V6. This could be the very end of the Hemi era. So really cherish those cars and get them while you can. I saw the future coming, and I said, I don't know how much longer we're going to have the glory days of this high horsepower cars that we have now. Even Ford, they're going to start making smaller motors and more V6s and 4 cylinders with turbochargers, and they'll make them more fuel efficient. They'll probably squeeze the power out, but for me, you can't beat the sound and the power of these Hemis. Even these 5.7s are an absolute blast. It's the reason why I had one. When I saw those Challengers in Lake Tahoe, I said, that's it. We've got to get one of these. I can't stand it. I can't wait anymore. Even though I would take every week, I detail that Malibu out, make it look like brand new. But there's something about even washing and detailing one of these Mopars is so wonderful. It's a beautiful experience, like a religious experience. It's very painful with my bad back to bend down and detail the rims and go inside and out and really detail the cars out. But the beauty remains, even though the pain is, short-lived. The beauty that endures and the fun that I have in that process, to me, makes me feel young again and makes it all worthwhile. So that's my long-winded video response to SouthTX RT. Thanks so much, Bud, for that wonderful, very moving tribute. You captured the essence of it. And I wanted to give my own perspective on it from someone that's been around cars a long time and loves them. I can't have the high dollar, nice cars that I had before because I don't have the income that I once had. But I certainly love and value and appreciate where we are right now. This truly is, I think, the apogee of the golden age of muscle cars. And thank God that we all can enjoy that and be there together in this wonderful hobby at a time and place in life where it's really at its peak. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll try to do more of this Mad Max RT content as I can. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy those Hemis, whether they're Chargers, 300s, or Challengers. Have a ball with them. That's what this is all about. Thanks for watching.